Welcome to the Friday vlog.
Welcome to the Friday vlog.
And today we are going to talk about, contrary to what a lot of people think, conflict is not actually the downfall of relationships.
Well, pray tell, what is the downfall of all relationships?
Not being able to get over conflict.
That's a good answer. Do you wish to elaborate?
Yes, I'm going to. And so a lot of focus is put on how to avoid conflict, how to communicate better in relationships in order to not have conflict. And I absolutely agree that conflict isn't a lot of fun and can be painful in a relationship. But there's not necessarily as much emphasis put on how to bounce back after conflict. And one of the hardest things in relationships, and it's something that I've struggled with in the past, less so now, but was the difficulty in getting over conflict and holding on to grudges and bringing it up again and again. Every time we tried to reconcile, it would just sort of reignite the conflict. And funnily enough, we had quite the tizzy today.
We did.
And I would definitely say it was heated.
I was wondering if you're going to bring that up.
But now we're fine. And I think that's one of the biggest difference between prior, when we were really struggling in our relationship, to now, where, yeah, we had a tizzy, we had conflict today. It got quite heated between us. And much sooner than we would previously. It's like, I feel like we're back to normal.
No, absolutely. I think now that obviously now, I'm no longer mad at you, but in the moment when I was mad at you, I feel like there's all this combustible fuel that's burning, like, and there's this inferno going on inside my head. And I think that where I'm at now in my consciousness is that I'm now realizing that combustible fuel will settle. And it's quite amazing to watch it settle and be conscious that it will settle. And at some point, my higher self, if you like, kicks in. And I see the situation from a different vantage point, and I can see that, yeah, you know what, I'm settling down, and in this state of mind, there really is no conflict to be had. It was all a state of mind thing, and I took it hook, line, and sinker. But it's interesting to see and observe myself settle, and then that just builds. I realize, oh, wow, I'm beginning to settle. I start to remember how this all works. Whereas before, earlier on, for whatever reason, I was a pretty low ebb, so I took something that you said personally and reacted to it, hopped on that train of thought without giving it a moment's thought. I just did it not instinctively, because it wouldn't be my instinct. Habitually, thank you. And then we're off to the races. But then I do settle. And now with this understanding, I know that settling is part of me coming back down to earth. In the old days, I would have why is there a problem? And having to analyze the hell out of it, and then going to process it and figure it out. And that was just going to get me more stirred up. And really, I now know that it's the settling down that is the sweet spot.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that was unusual these days in terms of what happened earlier was that you took something personally, and then I took taking it personally.
Oh, you did? It was the perfectly lob and volley argument.
We were both taking things personally,
Yes.
And that's why it got so heated. And that can happen, I think, in many relationships, maybe not all relationships, but it's certainly part of a normal human experience to take something personally, to feel reactive or defensive, and then perhaps the other person might do the same thing, which is what happened to us. But if you're able to bounce back, if you're able to have the experience in whatever expression it turned out, how quickly do you bounce back? How quickly do you get over it? How quickly are you able to feel the goodwill and open-hearted space with your partner?
Yeah, it's all about bounce back ability.
That's right.
and having and being able to understand that this is so much to do with state of mind. And that's all at stake here. Is the state of mind has gone south, and then we're responding from that place, from our thinking, and be able to have an awareness around that is just like, that's pivotal.
Well, that's where the bounce back comes in, because when you recognize that the way things were looking from that intense feeling state of mind was related to the perspective and the mood that you're in rather than concrete facts, then it's much easier to sort of soften around the position that you were holding or that I was holding, and sort of come back into balance.
That's right. It was like a giant puffer fish that slowly came back to its natural size, my natural state. And that's what's at the crux of it all, is we realise that our natural state is one of balance and harmony. We will come back to it and trusting that.
Yeah, and when we both come back to it, we were then able to realize there actually wasn't an issue that we were getting so heated about. Nothing needed to be changed, nothing needed to be fixed. We just needed to not take things personally. And so when we're able to see that, then there's the natural resilience that comes in the relationship, and then you're back to normal.
Back to normal.
Have a great weekend.
Have a great weekend.